So I'm going to talk about Halloween Horror Nights again tonight, and this night is September 27th. So, but first I want to get into my day, and we're going to talk about my day at Universal and lead into Halloween Horror Nights, and a really awesome night that I had. This night was really great. I actually got to hang out with PsychoMassacreFilms on this night, and that was really awesome. And I was supposed to meet up with Tim and Jen, but kind of crossed the streams and we never actually ran into each other, but it's okay, no harm done. Had a great time, and also ended up running into Nathan, WWE NathanHHN, depending on how you know him, and we hung out with him for a little bit as well, but mainly it was just me, PsychoMassacreFilms, and his friend, and it was really fun experience, but I'll get to that in a minute. So I'm going to talk about a couple of things first. Now, as with all these other videos, excuse me, before I go into what happened in Horror Nights, I'm going to talk about my day for the day. So that's exactly what we're going to do. I'm going to break down pretty much what happened on September 27th. So I got to the studios about 11:45 and walked right in with my annual pass. And I have a preferred annual pass at Universal. And I'm very proud to say I have a preferred annual pass at Universal. It is awesome. I am very happy to be a Universal pass holder. And I don't realize how much I spend at Universal time-wise until this year. This year I was at Universal for 8 days in September. And I'll be there at least 3 in December, so there's always that. So it made total sense for me to get an AP. So I had one anyway, but I had a Power Pass, and I just upgraded to a Preferred Pass that allowed me discounts and get me like really awesome viewing areas for Cinematic Spectacular. So, I do want to throw that out there. I am an annual pass holder, and proud of it. So, I went straight to Fast Food Boulevard, because you know what? That's what I do. I have developed an extreme love for Fast Food Boulevard. It's one of the best food courts I've ever been to in any theme park, and one of the best food courts I've ever been to, period. Now, my food of choice is actually located at Cletus's Chicken Shack. Yes, it is the infamous waffle sandwich, which, for the uninitiated, is a chicken patty, a breaded chicken patty, in between 2 waffles, and it is awesome. Now, when you're not picky like myself, this comes with maple mayonnaise and some greenery, but no, obviously you know I'm a picky eater, as everyone here should know by now. After almost 500 videos, you guys should know by now. I would say that I still found a way to make it work, and it is phenomenal. I love this thing. And it comes with tater tots, and I'm not a big tater tot guy. I'm just really not. I mean, I guess they can work. I mean, they're fried potatoes either way you look at it, but I don't like the consistency. I never have. I mean, they have, I believe they were called, hash rounds. Yeah, that's it. Hash rounds at Hardee's, or for those of you that are on the opposite coast that I'm on, Carl's Jr. And hash browns are awesome, and that big giant hash brown they have at McDonald's, that's awesome. But I never really got into tater tots. It's kind of the same consistency, really. Well, the thing about it is, you can, of course, substitute the tots for the hop, skip, and a jump away is Krusty Burger, and you can get yourself some curly fries. Yes, curly with a K. Krusty Burger, K, curly makes total sense. So I get some curly fries, and I got my waffle sandwich, and I'm chilling out drinking my Buzz Cola. Buzz Cola is awesome. And a little tidbit for you guys out there. Buzz Cola, by and large, is a Coke Zero style product. From what I can tell by seeing what I saw, it seems to me it's like the Zero equivalent for a SodaStream. If that makes any sense. I may be wrong on this, but I saw a SodaStream back, so in the kitchen, so I'm not seeing things. So it's a Zero equivalent of SodaStream, and it's got some really heavy cherry syrup in it. If you want, you can also tell them to make you another version of it, and you can get it, not a Zero version, but a cola version, and still have the heavy cherry syrup. And since my foot was bothering me, obviously cherry is really good for gout, apparently. So I was heavy on that cherry syrup, and it was awesome. But this wasn't when it started. That started actually the next day. We'll talk about that later. So, hit it hard, and it was like, you know, I don't even have time to go to Islands right now. I'm just going to spend time at the studios. I'm just going to enjoy myself. So I went straight to Men in Black and did well, as I usually do. Did Kang and Kodos and still can't figure out how to ride it, and eventually I will. And then I went over and did E.T. over at KidZone because I haven't done E.T. in years. And E.T. is still an awesome ride to this day, even though I know its days are rather numbered. I mean, you could definitely see the quality of the visual programming in the queue. It made total sense that it probably is in its last few days of existence before they get rid of it somewhere down the road. Probably sooner rather than later, sadly. E.T. is a classic and still has to be experienced every once in a while, so I had to hit E.T. up. And then I went over to Transformers, so I went from old to absolutely new and did Transforms in it because it didn't have a short line because single rider line is a godsend. And then I rode The Mummy because The Mummy is amazing. And after The Mummy, I went right over to Twister and I met Bill Paxton. And I talked to Bill Paxton. I saw how intelligent he is when he is talking about tornadoes. And Helen Hunt, who is 6,000 miles away, talking on the opposite side. And I realized right then and there that the Twister queue would be a tremendous Halloween Horror Nights house opportunity. If you know what I'm talking about, if you've been inside the Twister queue, you see all the dilapidated stuff, you see all the craziness everywhere caused by the tornado. So it looks, and there's even like places where characters can hide, so it made total sense. It'd be a great idea, and of course, if you go through Twister queue, that's how you get into American Werewolf in London. Or you're going to be able to for the next, since it's 10:30 now, I can say this night's pretty much over, but there's still people going to the house right now. As we speak, there are people going into the American Werewolf in London house, and I really, really wish I was you guys right now. So the 29th, the 30th, the 31st, the 1st, and the 2nd, so 5 more days for Halloween Horror Nights, and after that, no more American Werewolf in London house. It's not going to be something that's repeated next year. We'll have a brand new set of houses for 2014. So we're going to talk about Halloween Horror Nights 24 in a couple of videos from now. So, excuse me. This, of course, was a night of the annual pass holder event. And the annual pass holder event means, of course, Walking Dead at 5, and La Llorona at 5, and Afterlife, Death's Vengeance at 5:45, and then of course everything opens around 6, 6:30, everything, all the craziness starts. So, this also allows you in the first showing of Bill and Ted. Well, I met up with PsychoMassacreFilms, and we ended up running into NathanHHN as we were trying to get inside the park. So, I actually saw, I believe, I'm not positive on this, but I believe I saw Scarlet for like a split second as I was walking by. I was heading down, past Mel's, and I believe I ran into Scarlet, but obviously I didn't really say anything because we're kind of in a hurry trying to get to Walking Dead before everything started. So, we got into Walking Dead at 5:33. The person that went with us, that was the friend of PsychoMassacreFilms, it was his first experience of something like this, and it was really interesting to watch his experience from the same eyes I had back on September 20th going into the event, because obviously I don't really want to count the 2012 experience of doing House of Horrors and Penn and Teller twice, and that's it, and then leaving. I don't want to talk about that, but I guess you would say the wide eyes I had going into my first house on my birthday in September 21st, 2012. The same eyes that this person, this friend of PsychoMassacreFilms, went through, and like I said, I'm not a fan of The Walking Dead. I don't know anything about the minutia involving The Walking Dead, but I got a nice little crash course, and I like the house as usual. Penny didn't get me this time, but there was a, I believe there was like a bum, actually no, here's a really good one. If you walk in the first room, you can see that there is a guy, and he's kind of like a blacksmith is what it looks like to me. To me, he looks like James Rolfe, the angry video game nerd, and I looked at him and was like, how can I be scared of the angry video game nerd? And I heard a couple people laugh behind me, so obviously, like I said before, comedy for one is still comedy. So yeah, Walking Dead house was awesome, as usual. Got out of the house, and still don't know why the soundtrack, I don't know why I was hearing Mr. Saturday Night Special as I was walking into the house, but I'm sure there was reasoning for it. When you're walking into the house, you see the arena, the gladiator arena, where the walkers do battle, And basically, and obviously if I screw this up, I'm sorry. Like I said, I'm not a Walking Dead guy. So, previous nights, you'd seen a character behind the cage. That was not the case when we went through. There was actually characters that were chained up on the left and right side. That's how it should have been. There's actually just one on the right side this time, trying to scare people as they're going inside the house. So, really good house, very enjoyable. Went to La Llorona, and La Llorona got in about 6:02. So, didn't take very long to get into La Llorona at all. It had like next to no line. A lot more scarier. It was interesting because we got a... we're actually probably the first group into the house because we saw... I can't call it a shift change because it was the first time that they would do it for the night. I would say we saw this characters actually going to the house to set up for their first time, and they held us back momentarily so they could actually get in the house. So if you see a group of black hooded people walking towards a house or walking away from a house, they're either trying to get to the house or they're going on break for a house and they don't want to be accosted by people. So there you go. So we got to see that. La Llorona, sorry, I have to get used to that. La Llorona was very intense this time around. Really awesome checking that house out. The Pepper's Ghost effect got me this time, and the disorientation of seeing the mirror and not knowing where one of the children were. I mean, it was awesome. And of course, looking over the bridge and seeing the children laying face down dead in the water, that was awesome. It was an amazing visual because of the water coming out. Just a spectacular house in every way possible. And I really liked La Llorona, and I liked it even more on that night. So, went into Afterlife, Death's Vengeance, and again, I looked upwards this time, and when I went into the Christmas tree lights in the second room, I realized that the black lights had, on the ceiling, was the complete mirror image of what you had in the first room, where you had the execution of Bobby the Blade Galetta. And that was really awesome, and I didn't see that before, and I still didn't wear the 3D glasses, but I still got nailed, just like everyone does, by this character when you walk into the headlines room, and there is one with a knife, and he just gets right up in your face, and it is awesome. And it was the first time I actually noticed that there were characters that were, like, stabbing the bodies inside the body bag. I thought that was really awesome, too. Didn't really catch that before, because we're kind of trying to rush through on my birthday when we had the YouTube gathering, so didn't really get to catch that. And still ends way too abruptly, to be totally honest. I mean, Johnny Cash plays, walk up the vortex, it's over. Scan my Legendary Truth card, we're good to go. So, it's 6/11, and it's like, you know, Bill and Ted is the first show coming up soon. It's like, I don't know if we can make it or not. Why don't we go to Havoc, see how Havoc's wait times are. Havoc's wait times, not very long at all, actually non-existent. We get into Havoc real quick. This cast was a lot more intense than the previous cast, and I could definitely tell. It was the cast with the bald woman in... I know that's not saying much, because obviously everyone was bald or very short-haired inside the house. Everybody shaved their head, and that's basically calling their commitment to the house. It was a lot more intense this time around. Didn't really get many scares in the house, but I saw for the first time, actually, the people in front of us got nailed by this character that's in the ceiling. So that was really cool, and it was really awesome to see that. And the final room, basically just walked right in, and that was the end of it. So, walked out, everything was great. We went over to Werewolf, and it was like, it's fun time. It's Owen's favorite house, let's go to Werewolf. Werewolf was spot on. It was a little chillier than usual, and the lights was a little bit more up than normal, so it didn't look as dark as previously. So, it was great. Werewolf got several times. It's funny, the werewolf inside the tube got PsychoMassacreFilms really bad, and it was really awesome. It looked really cool, too. And actually, there was a character that inside the movie theater, that on the left-hand side, that I was watching like a hawk. And of course, when I was watching the right got me, so it was like, kudos to you guys. And of course, I finally see that the usher, or the representation of the usher, you can tell by the flashlight that the dismembered body that the wolf is destroying at the end of that before you walk into the next room is definitely like an ode to the usher. I thought it was really awesome. Werewolf was great. Girl inside the double-decker bus actually got me this time, Didn't get accosted by the Bobby, but the group in front of us did, and I stood right face this close to the werewolf at the end, as I was hearing Blue Moon in the background, because obviously that's the end of the house, and it just leaps out and like right next to my face. It was so awesome. Incredible house, spot on in every single way, and just was amazing. So we go to American Werewolf in London. I mean, this is great. I mean, we've went through, this is now our 5th house, and we started at 5:33, and the 5th house, we're getting out of we're going into American Werewolf in London at 7:07. So, Resident Evil doesn't have a long wait, so let's do Resident Evil. So we do Resident Evil, and as usual, see Zac Efron, see the picture of Sam Meets, try to find the guest-activated trigger, which we never did. I did later, but I'll talk about that when we get to it. Trying to get through every room, spotting all the herbs and everything. Finally get Nemesis on the ground this time around. That was cool. The Alpha got me from the right-hand side. That was really cool. And I liked Resident Evil more. I went through it, scanned my Legendary Truth, and nothing. Same problem I had from the previous night, was not scanning. This time I actually found a team member, a really nice girl named Megan, and Megan said to come back later in the night and don't have to go through the house again, because this is like the 4th time I've tried to go through the house to get a scan for it. So I try to go through the house again, and they're like, Megan's like, no, you don't have to go through the house again. Find me later tonight, and we'll backdoor you in, so we can get you that scan. I'm like, awesome, that's cool. So we'll come back later in the night. So that's exactly what we did. So we go over to go back over towards Bill and Ted, and it's kind of like, we got a little bit of time, let's ride Men in Black. So sure, let's ride Men in Black. So we go into Men in Black, 8:19, get out. We get into Bill and Ted, spot on as usual. Django walked right past me. That was really cool. Got to see my favorite curly-haired blonde in the opening number, who's wearing orange, by the way, if you don't know. If you know what I'm talking about, she's absolutely gorgeous. So there. And the jokes are really awesome. Tim put up a new video, I guess, I just saw, so I'll be watching that in a few minutes. Anyway, so Bill and Ted was amazing. Hilarious as always. The Daniel Bryan, yes, 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 very prevalent tonight. Even more so than before. I think you could definitely tell when the yes, yes, yes would go, because you'd have Ted gauge who was a wrestling fan, and if they went with it, he'd do it more. If they didn't go with it after once or twice, he would stop, and they'd go into the 69 dudes, and that was the end of the segment right there, that part of Bill and Ted. So, yeah, excellent stuff. Taylor Swift, great as always. I like the Paula Deen stuff. I actually paid more attention to what she was saying. And it was funny because the Paula Deen actual deal was completely... She was mouthing out the bad words that Universal would not like. So, yeah, it was really awesome. I really enjoyed Bill and Ted. It was excellent. Very spot on. So after Bill and Ted, it's time to go over to Cabin in the Woods. And we do Cabin. The Clown got me, actually, in the elevator. That was good. And the doctors, this first time I actually got water on me in Cabin. The doctors got me. The surgeons inside the break room. The one on the right that's sawing through the body, yeah, he got me. That was cool. And it was really great because I finally saw the Sugar Plum Fairy for the first time. And that was really cool because I've kind of missed her a couple of times. Because you have her on the left-hand side when you walk through the cubes. And then on the right-hand side you have Fornicus, the Hell Lord. So Fornicus always gets me every single time, but I was like, okay, fine, I'm going to slow down a little bit, and I'm going to go check out the Sugar Plum Fairy, and yeah, I did. It was awesome. And of course, I see the point shoes inside the room, obviously, with all the trinkets that summon the various monsters, and that was really awesome. So, spot on as always. I go over to Resident Evil, and I talk to the team member at the front, and they basically say, I don't know what you're talking about, and then they actually find one. And they find Megan, and I go to Resident Evil, and I scan, and it actually works this time. So Megan's awesome, and kudos to Megan, the team member that was working at Halloween Horror Nights on September 27th. She is amazing. So yeah, there's always that. So we got into Evil Dead, which would mean it would be our final house. We actually got 8 in 1, so there you go. We did 8 houses in one night, and we finished Walking Dead, La Llorona, Afterlife, Death's Vengeance, Havoc, An American Werewolf in London, and Resident Evil all before 7:45. That's insane. The lines were non-existent. This was absolutely insane because I thought the lines were going to be crazy, but they weren't, and it was awesome. So I got out of Evil Dead. NASCAR's open just a few more minutes. They're open till 12:30. I get in there and I tell them I need food. I order and they let me get food, which was awesome of them. Thank you, NASCAR Sports Girl, for actually accommodating me. I paid for the food and they give me like this little paper cup for a soda. And I take it to the bartender, he gives me the ginormous cup, and I get to take that out with me. I eat food like inside the seating area, and then I leave, and it was great. I got out, got at the drop-off, and I'm still Mirror Foursquare on at 12:53, and I arrived back at Pop Century on 1:48 a.m., almost 2 a.m. So it was like, you know, the next day was going to be big. This next day was going to be Halloween Horror Nights once again with Tim and Jen. And another 8-1? Yeah, that actually did happen. But we're not talking about that today. We're going to have to talk about that tomorrow. So, I want to thank PsychoMassacreFilms and NathanHHN, or Nathan WWE, for being a really awesome company for the night. Really great to hang out with PsychoMassacreFilms, and very excited to do it again next year at Halloween Horror Nights, and you can damn well bet I will be back in full effect at Halloween Horror Nights 24. Yes, I've got the bug now. Apparently so. So, in the meantime, if you like these videos, tell your friends about them. Leave a comment, do subscribe, spread the word about Pop, and if you want to do that, you can do it 3 simple ways. You want to get a hold of me, 3 simple ways. Once again, you can do it on Twitter. Very simple to find me. I do accept requests on Twitter. I do accept people to follow me on Twitter. I do accept almost every single request that gets me, unless it's someone I know personally and I don't want to talk to them, and then that's another story altogether. But if you want to follow me on Twitter, it's at Sir Owen Disney. If you want to send me a message on Facebook, go right ahead. It's Owen Disney, very simple to find. And if you want to contact me, send me some thoughts, some ideas, some comments, and opinions, you can via my email address, siroandisney@gmail.com. So we will talk Halloween Horror Nights again tomorrow night when I get back from B-Dubs. Actually, we're going to be going to B-Dubs after I get off work at 5, and it should be a fun night. We'll do the Halloween Horror Nights stees for September 28th, and on the 29th, we're going to be talking about my final night at Halloween Horror Nights, and that's going to be a Thursday for the 29th, and I'm talking on Halloween night. We're going to talk about that, and of course, I did get to record the Rocky Horror Tribute Show, and that will go up on Halloween night as well. So I will try to bring those up early because I actually probably have to shoot that tomorrow because I work at 10 a.m. on Thursday on Halloween. So because of that, I'm going from 10 to 5, and we're going to Ender's Game after at 8 o'clock, and then we might be doing Las Vegas afterwards, just so we don't have to watch it on Friday with Freebirds. So we'll see what happens. I'll let you guys know. And of course, wrestling fans, I'll join you guys again for TNA Impact and NXT and SmackDown over the weekend. So also, I will have my final Halloween Horror Nights video for 2013. That will be up, my recap of everything. Also going to talk about my thoughts, comments, opinions, and my speculation for Halloween Horror Nights 24 next year. So until tomorrow, boys and girls, that's all I got to say about that.